My name's Francesca and I go to Frome College.
Classroom aids to help learners with specific learning difficulties are now more widely used throughout the education system. Schools and colleges are required to ensure that those with learning difficulties are not treated unfavourably. It means that any additional help normally provided to an individual in the classroom could be available in the exam room too.
If a student has a difficulty with speed of work or ability to read accurately or spell or write, they need adjustment in their class lesson because their brain can do it, their mouth can do it, but they can't get it down on paper or the speed slows them up. So in class lessons, adjustment is given by other students writing for them, or they talk to a computer, or stuff is read aloud to them. In exams, they need a similar adjustment.
Instructions: use black ink or black ballpoint pen.
We have a program called Read Write Gold, which is downloaded onto the laptops. It has many different functions. Ones which we use specifically in English would be the reader tool. So they highlight a text of a Word document or website and it reads it back to you.
Gun crime in the USA is far higher than in most other developed countries, including the UK.
Which enables them to read higher level texts and be more independent in their work rather than asking an adult to read it for them.
The most important thing is the school or the centre where they're sitting the exam must provide background information that the student has a difficulty in their everyday life that means they need a reasonable adjustment when placed under exam conditions. So the background information must always come first. Then if the student has a cognition and learning issue, they would then need an assessment to prove the difficulty was there. But the assessment can only take place after the background information has been collected.
In the exam room, coloured overlays and exam reading pens are allowed, as well as rest breaks and word processing if they're part of a pupil's normal way of working.
Identify 2 ways in which a pressure group differs from a political party.
So, can you read that one for me, please? Identify 2 situations in which
And as well as technology, pupils may qualify for other support, such as a reader or a scribe, or sometimes an accredited qualified oral language modifier, known as an OLM, who can help to modify the carrier language in questions.
To get a reader or a scribe in an external exam, you need to have a below average score for reading, reading speed, reading comprehension, spelling or writing, depending whether you want to read or a scribe. And for extra time, you need below average scores or low average scores in areas that affect speed of work. You need the SENCO or the head of special needs at the centre where the student is sitting their exams. They compile the background information, and then you need a specialist assessor. And the specialist assessor will look at the key areas, speed of work or reading or writing speed or spelling. And if the student performs below average, 1 standard deviation below the norm, then they could qualify for the appropriate access arrangement. It's getting the information from all the teachers. They have to observe the child in the workplace, in the classroom, and collate the information to pass on to the SENCO, so it can take weeks, a couple of months to get the information secure. The assessment itself is quite quick, but it's getting the background information that takes the time.
The most common access arrangements granted by exam boards include extra time, usually 25%, but it could be longer for candidates with additional and very substantial impairments. A reader or computer reader, including apps that convert text to speech. A scribe or technology to help with writing. This could be speech recognition, word prediction, or using a spell checker. Schools or colleges may also allow the use of a word processor, reading aloud, and rest breaks if it's the pupil's normal way of working to support their needs.
We collate information from all their teachers, what their best way of working is, how much help they need in the classroom on a daily basis, and we compile an evidence folder, a very large evidence folder of information, and then once we've collated that, we're enabled to apply for the access arrangement onto the online system or via the exam boards, depending on the route which examinations they're taking.
Once the school or exam centre has gathered the relevant information, it may need to submit a Form 8 to formally apply for an access arrangement for a pupil. Form 8 is only used for students with cognition and learning needs who do not have an EHCP.
Form 8 is a form produced by the Joint Council of Qualification, the JCQ. It's the overriding body for access arrangements for all the exam boards. And it helps paint a picture of need. The school or the centre where the student is taking the exams, they fill out the background information, they fill out evidence from teachers that the child has a significant difficulty and will need the reasonable adjustment of 25% extra time or a reader or a scribe or other appropriate access arrangements. And then it's sent to an assessor, appropriately qualified assessor, who tests the children using standardised tests.
Knowing that help is available with exams can help learners' confidence throughout their education.
It's almost gaining their trust and saying, you can do it. With this little bit of extra help that you're doing independently, you can achieve so much more. And I think that really boosts their confidence and self-esteem and makes them want to go on to try even harder things.
So to recap the key points of access arrangements for GCSE exams. Work with learners to discover what assistance they need. Ensure learners are comfortable and competent with the assistance they have. Liaise with the school SENCO to apply for assistance in exams. Get the school or exam centre to submit a Form 8 to apply for access arrangements. For full details of the latest regulations and guidelines, refer to the Joint Council for Qualifications website.